Hello and what's up everyone, I'm Dr. Shinglestein aka Fast2Fx World, and we're going to be talking the Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra wireless controller for Xbox and PC. It's a very nice looking box, some nice information around the side. It says it's got a 30-hour plus battery life, enhanced audio settings, 4 mappable action buttons, ultra responsive buttons, anti-drift thumbsticks. Now that is kind of a game changer, because with controllers you get stick shift, and if you don't know what stick shift is, it's where you leave your controller, you're not touching anything, and it suddenly drifts to the left or the right, and then you end up buying a new controller. That's because they have got buttons attached to it inside, and they wear down and break down, and it causes that. But as we know about this, supposedly doesn't have that, which is a game changer, which means you'll never need to change a controller, because it cannot get shit. They're anti-drift and it's drift thumbsticks. So as we open it up, we've got a lovely looking case. Very nice durable hardware in. Inside find the controller, a super long USB to USB-C cable, the controller dock, and of course the dongle. Now you can plug the dongle directly into your Xbox, or leave the dongle attached to the charging dock. These 3 bits here attach to these 3 bits. It's just as simple as that. And of course, but you plug the USB-C cable into the back of that, there, into your Xbox, and what happens? It will charge and your dongle will work, and there we go. Take the control. It feels extremely light. It's got a lovely tinge to it. Now these are the RGB lighting, which can be changed in the settings. On the back is some P1, P2 mappable buttons that you can customizable program. Feeling it, just some nice rubberized grips with some textured grips with the Turtle Beach sign on both sides. Feels lovely. Oh, yeah. It does feel nice. When you hit the RB and LB buttons, you hear mechanical buttons. When you hear, it's normal, full tilted in, but of course, as you can see here, it's got lock buttons. So if I lock the button, you see what happens now. Just a tiny, which is perfect for shooter games like Call of Duty and things like this, FPS games. And then of course you just flip it back, and you can have a choice to lock one or the other, both, or not at all. I think the buttons on the back are in a lovely position. You put your hand underneath the controller like so. Feels super nice, super grippable. I can place my hands, and with one finger I can easily access the P1, P2 buttons, and the other one finger P3, P4 buttons, and they feel they're mechanical buttons as well. Now these are the thumbsticks. They look a little bit thinner and not quite as wide. So when you get the if you buy some thumbsticks covers to raise it up a bit, it might not fit, it might wobble about a bit, but you do in here get extra analog heads, which are thumbstick covers, and 2 of them are textured with like 4 dots, and 2 of them are not. Yeah, lovely velvety inside, really nice. Now let's connect it back to the dock, just simply like so. They claim just 2 hours charge. It's a super fast charge, and 2 hours charge, it will work, and it will work pretty well. It goes back in its case, and let's just show you the back of the case here. So it's got a cover. You lift that cover down and you can fit your USB-C cable in the back and charge it while it's in its case if you want to do that. As you can see here, take the dock off. It does have a screen on it where you can change settings of the controllers, assign it to a profile. You can assign different settings to another profile, and up to 10 profiles. You can connect it to your phone. You can connect something called AppLink to your phone. Connect it to the AppLink and you can receive social media messages on the screen. So it is new. I haven't set the controller up or updated the firmware yet, but it does come with a tag to pull off. But it is, I believe they said it was a 1.4 inch screen. Now let's talk about the buttons. As you can see, you've got sort of like the select button, the start button, either side of the screen. You've got the Xbox button and home further down. Then you've got your screenshot button, and then you've got the plus button. This new button here. That plus button activates your screen, and then you can press the different buttons that go around. You can customize these RGB lights around the controller. You can do lots of customizable settings in the controller. Now let's look at the D-pad. It feels like it's plasticky, metally, lovely grey colour, really nice. And here, what happens when you press the buttons? Very mechanical again. Now a lot of people about this say pressing the diagonal buttons is more difficult, but as you can see, you can press it quite easily. If you have small hands like I do, it's not a problem. Easy to press. And now you've got the A, B, X, Y buttons, which are black with like a grey and a grey buttons with the a transparent casing. And here, what happens when you press these buttons? Again, mechanical. The weight has been tested on these by several other people, and it weighs approximately 250 grams, whereas standard Xbox controller weighs about 336 grams. And then the Xbox Elite controller, which I haven't used, but I have seen them, I have had them in my hand. I didn't like how it felt, but that's obviously just personal opinion. Everyone are different. And a nice little touch with these controllers are, it says anti-drift by the thumbsticks. Yes, and I like that it's black, and that looks like a silvery coppery colour. So in a way, it's like you've got your own personalised Xbox controller. And so yeah, it just feels really, really responsive. I like just rubbing my hands over P1, P2 button. You get a nice texture, and as you can see on the left bumper and left trigger, right bumper and right trigger, it's also textured the same. And as you feel it, it just feels really lovely. It feels it's really quality. It's really been made well. I think Turtle Beach have done a fantastic job. And you'll see a 3.5mm jack there, so you can connect your Turtle Beach headset. Press the plus button, go into the settings, and you can sort the chat mixer, game volume. And it's got lots and lots of different things in the settings. Now, I certainly can't wait to try this out. Get this connected to my Xbox, download an app called Control Center 2, and apparently a lot of people said it's not a very responsive app, it's not a great app, but I should be able to, getting it set up can be a problem, updating the firmware, but I expect it to be fine. And a lot of people are going into the app to change like the RGB light and to change the settings, but I won't have an issue with that if that's not very responsive, because it can all be done here on the controller. Once it's set here, it also sets itself onto the app. So there's just no reason to get annoyed that people are getting with the app, especially when everything can be done on the controller. Once the firmware has been set up the first time, and then the dongle has been updated, and then the dongle has been updated, you might, but I'm not sure, but I'm hoping you can update your controller and you can update the dongle from the screen here on the controller to make it so much easier. Now, as I say, they claim you get up 30 hours plus per one charge, and that depends on a lot of things. A lot of people are saying that you don't get that, you barely get 6-7 hours. Now, that's still a lot of hours worth of gaming, but it always depends, you know, do you keep the screen on? Do you have the settings where it keeps the screen on or turns off? And if you do have it on, do you have it full brightness? The lower the brightness, the more battery you get. Do you have these RGB lighting on? If you do have it on, is it full brightness or is it lower bright? Again, the lower the brightness, the more hours you get. Or do you have everything turned off, the RGB lighting off, the screen off? And if you do all of that and have everything turned off, you probably do get 30 plus hours of gaming. But I prefer to have the RGB lighting on and bright as possible, and I would prefer to have the screen on and as bright as possible and not turn off until you turn the Xbox console off. Now, so if I only get 6, 7, 8 hours worth out of gaming in one go as a result, that doesn't bother me because I don't use my Xbox for 6, 7 hours anyway. So I would have enough charge, and if it did die on me, I'll just put it on the dock, charge it, get my other controller, put one of my rechargeable batteries in out of my other charging dock, which are these, and I'll just put that in the other controller, not in one of the normal Xbox controllers, and just use that until this is charged. So I don't see people's issues with that. But a lot of people are die-hard gaming. They like to have 24-hour gaming sessions, and they do like to use a controller like this. And I think by what people are saying, you need everything turned off for it to work, to get that long. Now, obviously, Turtle Beach don't tell you that in the box. In the quick start guide, but I think it's pretty obvious. If you have everything all turned on, it's all going to be using the battery, so you get less out of it. If you have everything off and just use the control, you know, no app links, so no social media notifications, absolutely nothing on the controller, just use it for game, you probably will get 30 hours plus of gaming. So a lot of people call it false advertising, and it isn't. They say you can get 30 plus hours out of gaming. There's a 30 plus hour battery life. They didn't say how, but that is how you do it, to extend the battery life. And it's common sense. The more things you use another battery, the more battery you use. But it does say on the front, connected command display, low latency wireless. It's got a dead zone, I think it is, in the controller. You can set that to 0 on the right thumbstick, the left thumbstick, possibly the D-pad, but you can certainly do it in the left bumper, left trigger, right bumper, right trigger. But overall, it is a lovely, lovely looking controller. Now, the other issue is a lot of people are saying it disconnects and turns itself off at random times, even though there's extra battery, and then they have to unplug it from the Xbox, unplug the transmitter from the dongle, plug the transmitter back in, plug it back in, yeah, and then turn the Xbox controller back on, and it will connect up and it will work again. Bit annoying if that happens. Sometimes things like that happen. It does not mean the controller is faulty. It's just very, very annoying. But other people are saying there's no issue. Theirs works, it doesn't disconnect them. And I think a lot of the time it's disconnecting people because they've used it for too long, haven't charged it, used it with everything on, and it's just run out of battery, so it's just turned itself off and disconnected itself from your Xbox, and that because it's turned itself off because the battery's run out. Best way to avoid that is use your controller for your gaming. Once you're finished, plug it in. Obviously leave it, I would say leave the dongle, leave the transmitter attached to the dongle like I have done there. And to do that, you just simply, so obviously they only ever go in one way. If it don't go in one way, you got it the wrong way round, you turn it the other way around, snaps into place. If you do that, I'd say probably put this in front of your Xbox, but not restricting the disk drive or the USB slot. And you use this super long cable, which is probably about 10 feet long, which is 3 meters. As long as you just take a bit out that you need, plug it into your Xbox, you can charge it no problem. And now another thing they're saying, as some people are saying, is again not an issue. They say you can't sync it up to your Xbox and play on your own without the transmitter. You must, and it looks like that's correct because there is no sync button on here. Absolutely none. And there is no sync button on the dongle. Or, oh, that's interesting. I thought that was just a light, but as you can hear and see, it is a button. So if that turns itself off, maybe just press and hold it and turn it on. Maybe that cures the issue. Maybe that's what's disconnecting, not the controller, the dongle. But what's to say about it? Really, overall thoughts. Looks really, really lovely. Really lovely. Feels really lovely on the hands. The buttons feel real responsive. Lovely idea of mechanical buttons instead of other things holding underneath that the buttons rest on, like the thumbsticks on the regular controllers and the Elite series controllers. And the idea that this is, can't remember the name they said it was, but for me, anti-drift. And then again, as I did before, anti-drift. Yeah, that means they're anti-stick drift, so you cannot. So this controller should last years and years and years. And as I was saying about the people that complain about the no sync button, Turtle Beach tend not to do that because they want you to use, let's get it back out, a transmitter that they supply. So as long as you put the transmitter into your Xbox or into the dongle and then the cable into the back and into the Xbox, transmitters should work and you should have no issues. Another issue that people don't always check, and they should, is it could be the cable. There could be the cable's developed an issue. So all you need to do is find another USB-C to USB cable and use that one. Probably be a lot smaller, but that's not an issue. Use that one, and sometimes you get no issues as a result. Having no issues with that means one thing: it was the wire, not the controller. And a lot of people don't think it was, oh, it's the controller that's doing it, so it must be faulty. Not necessarily. It could be the transmitter that's faulty. It could be the charging cable is faulty. But of course, another thing that a load of people, but it shouldn't really have any issues with them. As I say, a lot of people do it with the they use it for so long they've run the battery out, so of course it disconnects, and it would do if the battery's dead. Now, always, if any of it happens, always check the wire and try a different wire. Now, there's one other thing that people like to do. They like to use their controllers wired sometimes. So, and if you want to do that, that's fine. You can even do it with this. It's such a long cable that it allows you to do that. And it will still charge the battery while you're playing it. But of course, like anything, even like an iPhone or a Samsung phone, an iPad, anything, if you're charging it and you're using it, it will charge a bit slower than it normally would because you're using it at the same time of it charging. Always have a spare controller, and if it does die on you, just put it on the charging dock, let it charge, use your other controller. You can keep an eye, because you can see the screen, you can see it charging. You just keep an eye. Once it says 100%, take it off. Press and hold the X. Obviously, take the battery out of your other controller. Put the batteries back in, or if you've got a rechargeable battery from like I have, as I showed, put it back in your charging dock. Your rechargeable batteries charging dock for your other controller. Let that charge. Press and hold the X button for a couple of extra minutes, and voila, it will work. You know, it will work again. It's no problem. And as you can see, I have pressed the button. I don't know why I did that, but as you can see, the lights are on and the screen is on underneath the piece of plastic that I've still not, and that is flashing. Probably that light is flashing probably because it's looking for the dongle. But now, the one other thing to remember, some people ask, can you use it for your PlayStation 5? No, is the simple answer. This is for, as it says, Xbox, designed for Xbox Series X and Series S, Xbox One, Windows 10 and 11 computers, and it does say Android, which is interesting. But I know probably because of Android, because you can connect it to your TV. You can use the Bluetooth of the controller, which I think, oh, that's better, it's turned itself off again now. It's not in use, so they know. It knows and it turns itself off, which I will change in the settings to always keep the controller on, but it'll always stay on the charging dock, as I say. But my TV, for instance, is a TCL 4K QLED TV, and I can connect this up to the Bluetooth on my TV, and I can go into the gaming on my TV and play gaming on my TV. I generally don't do that because I do have a game stick, and it's got all retro consoles on it, you know, from Atari, Nintendo and that, and I think it's got about 43 consoles, and it's got 35,000 games, and they do come with two of the old PlayStation 2 type controllers, which do take batteries, but that's I can talk about that another day. But it is good sometimes to play those retro games, but that's plugged in to a USB port, my TV and so on. But this wouldn't allow me to play those retro games. It has to be that. But you can download games on through the App Store on your Android TV, on the TVs that have Android, and you can connect this up and use it should you want to. But yes, guys. But anyway, that has been the overall review of the Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra wireless controller for Xbox Series S and Xbox Series S, for Xbox One, for Windows 10 and 11, for Android, and of course connecting it to the TV, which probably Android and Android phones. And of course, if you connect it up to your mobile phone to play remote play on your Xbox, you can do that on the iPhone or the Android. But anyway, guys, I hope you find this review helpful, and I don't never obviously influence your decision to buy one, but if you do buy one, connect it up, use the update the firmware in it, which I'm about to do in a moment, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about it, and obviously leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will always reply to them comments, and that's every comment. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, and like the video, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye bye.